Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. Welcome back to Millennial Thoughts Pod with your girl Alicia. I'm so glad y'all are joining us today because I do have a special guest. Her name is Sierra, and she's a host as well of a podcast called I Don't Do Budgets. We're just going to be talking about money, millennial life, everything, and more. So, welcome, Sierra. How are you?
Oh, well. How are you, Alicia? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing good. The best I can do in the situation and circumstances that we're in.
Right.
So, just trying to do that. But yeah, I'm so glad to just be able to come on here and just talk to you. And I feel like the millennial generation, like money is so big or whatever. And I feel like either we're trying to save money, make money, trying to figure out how to get the most of our money.
Right.
So I just feel like it's like a big conversation. Some people don't really talk about it that much. Some people do talk about it that much. I don't know. And so I just really wanted to be like a resource to help people figure out like about like managing money and different things like that. So I'm glad that you came on here and you're excited to share with millennials about money,
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, so first I wanted to like ask you, how did you come up with your name like for your podcast? Like I Don't Do Budgets. Like how did that come about?
So I was like the typical millennial, graduating college, had no clue what to do with my money, had no clue how to manage it, and was just like living my best life, quote unquote. Not really, because I didn't have no money saved up or nothing. I was just like spending all my money or whatever, going out, shopping, doing all this crazy stuff. And then in short story, how I got to I Don't Do Budgets, I ended up getting my whole life together, getting my money together, fixing my credit and doing all of this, started saving money heavy. I started saving $500 a month and I increased it to $1,000. I got to the point to where other people started coming to me for help. And I was like, okay, let me figure out how to help all these people. They ended up asking me to start a blog. And I was like, I'm not really trying to do that. So anyways, I ended up financial coaching. I started a financial coaching business, started helping people with their money. And from my strategies that I developed, I did not like doing budgets. And I would always separate and automate my money. And I actually ended up doing this on accident. And then that became a part of my strategy, was to separate and automate my money. So from that point, I started helping people and I was using that strategy. And I would always tell my clients, just so you know, I don't do budgets. And they would be like, oh my gosh, like I love that. I don't like budgets either. Because I would try to do budgets. Like I tried the envelope method. I tried the zero-based budget method. Like all the typical budgets that you do, like I tried them and it never worked. So whenever I would say that to people, I would hear the excitement in their voice. Like they would always get excited, like, oh my gosh, I tried budgeting too. It did not work. Like that's why I came to you and blah, blah, blah. Because at first my name was Young, Wild, and Financially Free. And I was trying to like encompass the whole, freedom, flexibility, like separation or whatever. But I just felt like the name wasn't sticking. And then I literally just in the middle of the night, like I was laying down and I just popped up at my bed and I was like, I don't do budgets. That's it. Like, cause I was just thinking like all of the people that I work with love that name. And that's how I ended up coming out. I don't do budgets.
That is so crazy. So funny. Just like randomly like, oh, at night, yes, I come up with them. But it's so funny how you're like, I don't do budgets. And they're like, great, neither do I.
Right.
So it just like comes all together. But I do want to talk about a little bit because I know like how you got there. We don't want to take all day with the story, but the story about even like coming out of college, like trying to live your best life and like just that around that, like jobs and money and different things like that. So do you feel like when you graduated that you got a good job when you graduated and you were able to like flex all your money basically or use all your money?
I would say my job was pretty decent. I wouldn't say it was like great. So I was making like 40,000 when I graduated. And to me, that was a lot of money. Like it wasn't, I knew it wasn't like what I wanted because I wanted to be making at least 50,000. I knew it.
Don't we all?
Yes. I was like, I'm making 50,000 once I graduate, whatever. But I ended up making 40,000, and but it was still a lot of money to me at the time because I had never made that amount of money before. So I felt like I had been a broke college student for the last 4 years, and now it was my time to flex, like you said, and go out, live my best life, you know, go to the club, get sections, travel, whatever. So I was doing all of that. Yeah, I was at Sephora all the time, at the mall all the time. And another reason why I was spending all my money is because I had been relocated for my job to Minneapolis. I'm from Arkansas, and they moved me to Minneapolis to be on their Target team there. And I was just like, I don't know anybody, so I just would go to the mall all the time. And Minneapolis is known as like the mall capital. Like they have the Mall of America, and not only the Mall of America, they have malls all over the city, and you don't pay any taxes on clothes or shoes.
Oh, okay.
So I was just taking advantage of it, going shopping all the time. So I would say, yeah, I was pretty much giving away my entire paycheck.
Oh, okay. Would you say like would you say like Minneapolis is like has like a low cost of living?
No, it did not.
Oh,
I was my half of the rent. I had a roommate at the time, and my half of the rent was $800. Yeah,
I'm about to cry.
So our rent was like $1,600. So
okay.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. And we didn't live like. I mean, we had a nice apartment, but it wasn't like all of that. I would like, and it was kind of like in the suburbs. So
okay, I see what you're saying. I was just wondering if it was like low cost, because you know, like, well, if stuff is low cost and like you can go shopping, like you don't really care or whatever. But that's why I was asking, like the rent or whatever. And so with that, people nowadays, I don't know, I guess it depends on your market. That's a whole other conversation. But even getting that much money after they graduate, like some people don't even get that much money. Like you like look and you see jobs and they be like 13, 14 with master's degrees in 5 years and stuff like that. And so sometimes I just feel like it depends on what your industry is in and how much you get paid. And so like trying to manage your money or something like that, I feel that that's even harder to go. And so that's why I was asking about that part. And so since you don't do budgets with your money, like what do you do? Is it just like a system you have that you manage your money? Or do you just like know your bills and you're just like, okay, I'm going to spend this?
So like I was saying earlier, I separate and automate my money. So ultimately what I do is I have separate accounts for different things. So I have a goal account for travel, and then I have a separate account for my bills, and then I have a separate account for like my emergency savings or whatever. And whenever I tell people this, like people automatically think like, oh my gosh, you got like 30 accounts. And that's not the case. I have 2 checking accounts, one for my regular everyday, every random whatever, which is with my bank, with Bank of America. And then I have another account for my bills with a bank called Simple. And it allows me to basically put my money into that account. And then I'm able to just put everything, all of my bills. So let's say my bills are $800, like I mentioned before, which they're not, but I'm just using an example. So I will, if my bills are $800, then I always put a $50 cushion in there. So I put in $850 a month. And so depending on however often people get paid, I tell them to break that up. So $850 divided by 2, like if you get paid every 2 weeks, is $425. So I would have $425 automatically direct deposited from my check to that account. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to transfer it. I don't have to do nothing. It just automatically goes to that account. And so when my rent is due, the money is already in there, and I have it to where it's set up on auto pay. So all my bills get paid on auto pay from that account. And from the $50 cushion, that eventually adds up. So I remember when I live in Atlanta now, but when I first moved to Atlanta, I had a $1,000 surplus in my bill account because the $50 had just added up over time. And then next thing you know, the extra $1,000 when I moved to Atlanta, I used that to put down on deposits or whatever. But it's just, I'm telling you, I haven't looked back, because I used to be that person. Like when I was in Minneapolis, I remember literally checking my bank account, and my bills at the time were $800 for my rent, and I had $600 in my Bank of America account. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to pay my rent. And that was like after going out shopping, doing all this crazy mess. But I forgot I had opened up a separate account in Minneapolis and to put my bills in. And I checked that account and I had $1,000 in it. And so,
oh, I know you. Like,
yes, in my heart, I was like, "Thank you, God! Like, I'm so glad I set up this bill account because the money was just automatically going in there for my check, so I really wasn't thinking about it like that. But I was so happy because I was like, "Girl, you would, I don't know, I would have to call my mama or somebody because I'm like, oh God, what did pay this rent?" But from that day on, I was like, I will never mix my bills with the rest of my money. So. Back to what I was saying, I have 2 checkings. I have a regular savings with Bank of America, and then I have a high yield interest savings account where I get more interest on my savings. So the rest of my money is in that account. And then I have goal accounts for like random things like travel or eating out or the gym or whatever. And ultimately, a goal account allows you to have multiple goals, but it's one account. So let's say you have $1,000 in that account, then you can actually separate it by goals. So you can allocate $200 towards travel and $300 towards something else, like whatever. It'll just automatically let you separate the goals based on whatever goals you want, like Christmas, a specific trip, moving to a new state, saving for furniture, whatever you want to call it, whatever goals you want to make up or whatever, you can do that. And so you don't have like 30 accounts. You just have one account and it separates it for you.
Like, yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I have 2 points because I don't know if people really necessarily don't have savings account or they have it all in their checking. And so I do think it's important to have 2 different accounts because I've had a savings account since like forever, like when I was even younger. So I've always known the importance of having savings account, and I've had bank accounts and stuff like that. And I do like the idea of like, okay, checking, like this is just for my rent. I separate that, and then this is for something else. And I feel like I have never done a budget. Like I do not budget for real either. Honestly, when I look at back and think about it, when people tell me, I do not budget. Like I'm thinking about budgeting now per se, probably because like after I graduate, my life and everything that's going on. But I really never really budget. I'm just like, okay, I have this, I can do this, and I'm doing this, you know?
Right.
And that's just what it was. Like I never really budget, and so I think that's really great. As we're talking about it in millennials, like you don't have to budget. You just have to have your money work for you.
Right. And I'll say this real quick. Like for me, budgeting felt so restricted. I felt like I was on a diet. Like I felt like I couldn't do anything. And what was crazy is like, even when I was budgeting, I still wasn't saving. But with this method, separating and automating my money, I've been able to save over half my salary. But I could have never done that on a budget because I would have been looking at the money. Like I just know me, myself, like I'm lazy and I'm not about to be doing these budgets. Like I would literally dread it. Like every month when I was supposed to do a budget, I was like, oh, like, dang, like I gotta do this budget or whatever. And so I just felt like, you know, when I would be like, okay, I'm only gonna spend $10 eating out this week. Like I just was like, I can't.
You gotta be like, here's $1. Okay, $1.
Right. And then if I spend like $12 eating out, then I felt bad. Like, oh my gosh, like got to kill myself at this point. Like it was just too much pressure. I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't live life like this.
I feel like that. And it's also convenient. Like, I mean, the day in life we're in, it's convenient to automate different things and stuff like that. And so that's so funny that you said that because I think, you know, this girl too, Michael, she was on my podcast like 3 or 4 episodes ago. I seen that you did something with her too. And she talked about how she didn't do budgets either. And she broke up her accounts too, basically. So I think that's really important for people to know, like the different ways. Like you don't have to do a budget. You can have your money be in different accounts. But I guess people have to know about that. And like growing up, you may hear like, okay, just use one bank account. But it's like, no, you might not want to just use our one bank, I should say. You can have different banks. It's okay to put your money in different places.
Right. Yeah, Michaela is my girl. She was on my podcast as well.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, that's so funny. She had like the IG live series or whatever, and I was watching it. I missed yours because I didn't know about it, but I seen the other ones on there. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, see.
Yes, I was the last one.
That was kind of funny. I know, and I missed it. I was so sad. But yeah, so I just think it's really important to like figure out like how we can make our money work for us instead of just like listening, because I mean everybody else is like, okay, budget, 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 but like we do not like to be restricted on
No,
anything.
I can't.
Like,
And my personality, the way I'm set up, like I just, for one, I'm not necessarily a planner. Like that's just not like I am. Like I plan very vaguely, I would guess. Like or freely, I would say. Like I have a plan, but it's not like it's more so like I'm not about to sit down and be like, okay, absolutely, positively, $10 is going to this, and to me, I'm just like, this is so dreadful. Or like when I plan it, like when I go on a trip, I'm not gonna be like, okay, at 3:00 we're doing this, 4:15 we're doing this. Like I'm just not. I will be more so like, okay, I definitely want to go to so and so. Definitely want to do this. Like we could probably do that Friday or Saturday, whatever. So that's how I am. So like that, I couldn't be like that with my money. Like I couldn't be, okay, I definitely can't spend this or definitely that. Like I still look at my money like to kind of see like how much is coming in and how much is going out to see what my discretionary income is. So I know the picture and I know where my money is going, but I'm not necessarily like counting pennies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like a loose kind of planner.
Yeah, like
like playing loosely. I'm cracking up. And you said a couple of things that I think is also important. So I know people do want to relocate, like they want to move, they want to go different places, like they don't want to be where they're at. Do you have any tips with money or how to set up or what they can do to kind of save money to relocate?
Yeah, so basically what I did was I used the goal accounts that I mentioned. So the one that I use is called Capital with a Q. Actually, yes, I love them. And I actually have like a referral link and everything. So if anybody wanted to open up an account, I could send you my link. But anyways, I used Capital for that. And I ultimately had Capital set up. I opened up a goal or started a goal called Atlanta. And then I set it up to where it will automatically save $63 a week. And the way I came up with the $63, I basically looked and said, okay, how much money do you need to move to Atlanta? And the number I came up with was $2,500. And so then once I came up with the 2,500, I looked and seen how far away I was from moving. So I think it was like I had a year. So then basically what I did was divided the 2,500 by however many weeks. I don't remember if it was 52 at the time. It was something around that. So I divided that, and then I figured it out that I was supposed to have, or I needed to save $63 a week in order to hit 2,500. I actually ended up saving over $3,000 because I moved later than I planned to. And so it actually, and not only that, I was putting like random amounts of money into the account as well. Like I would get an extra $200 from like a bonus or something like that, like just random stuff, and I would just add it in there. Or I would sell something and just add. But I really didn't add that much money to it. I think I only added money like twice. But other than that, it was on auto save. And by the time I moved to Atlanta, I had over 3,000. So I was good. Like I had a U-Haul. I had to get a U-Haul. The U-Haul was $900.
Yeah. Oh
and so I'm so glad I saved beforehand because I didn't have to. I wasn't feeling like, I mean, I was still like, damn, this U-Haul is $900, but at the same time, I had the money. Yeah, and I wasn't interrupting my normal flow. Like I wasn't like, oh, I gotta spend $900 and then I gotta spend this. Like everything was pretty much covered, so I was good, because that money was allocated specifically for moving. So I would definitely say, number one, see how much you need to be able to move. $2,500 was just what I wanted. I wanted to be able to cover first month's rent and moving expenses, and not first month's rent, the deposit. I wanted to be able to cover the deposit for the apartment, the application fees, the U-Haul, like all of that stuff I wanted to be able to cover. So I was like, okay, $2,500 is what I need.
Okay, so you're saying, did you like move with a job already, or no?
Yeah, I did move with a job.
Oh, okay. See, you had me, and I was like, okay, I only need 2,500, and then you hit the 3,000, and then you hit the next. I was like, okay, maybe I need to keep saving.
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely, what I ended up
Oh,
doing was like talking with my job to allow them to let me transition to be able to work remote. So if you can, if you're moving,
yeah, I
like
see what
if
you're
you can
saying.
talk to your job and see if they'll let you work remote. The worst they can say is no. Luckily for me, they said yes. But
Right, that's true.
if not, like I advise you to try to find a job if you can beforehand. So then that way you
hmm
can be a little secure. But if not, like if you can't find a job
hmm
beforehand, definitely save more than 2,500, or not if you can't find a job beforehand, but if you don't know if your job is going to be willing or whatever, I would save way more than that. Just at least 3 months expenses so you can be able to move to the city and then feel comfortable to pay your rent for the next 3 months. Because sometimes jobs won't hire out of state people. Like they won't hire you or even look at
hmm
your resume unless you have the in-state address. So that's why I would just definitely recommend to save more than possible. Even though I saved 300, I still had a lot more money in my emergency savings. So I don't have a job currently. Like I'm in the middle of finding another job, but my expenses are still good. Like I'm still able to pay them because I have money in my like emergency savings, which I actually call my F it fund. So basically, F
Your
it,
what?
like F it
I'm
fund,
cracking up.
like F
Like,
this.
yeah, I see what you're
So
saying.
ultimately, I started
Yeah.
that fund because it was my first job. I remember my manager was so freaking like she was a micromanager to the T. And I remember there was just days where I wanted to just be like F this and leave, but I didn't have no money in my savings account. So when I started saving, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my effort fund because that way I'll have freedom to be able to leave this job if I wanted to, or not even just leave this job, leave this city or whatever the case may be. Like F this, I'm out of here. And so that really helped me
Right.
save more because I had a why behind my savings. It wasn't just me saving just to save. Like it was more so like me saving for
Mm.
freedom. So, yes,
Oh, I like that, having a why behind your savings. That's gonna make you really go
exactly.
hard. hmm Oh, that's so cool. I really like that. And so have a why, and then you said so. Basically, you need to have a effort account, a savings account, a spend account, and then what is it called? Bills.
Yeah.
Like 4 accounts.
Yeah,
You need to have it
and
if you don't want to do
the main
budgets.
I'll say this, like the main two accounts that I focus on is like my Bank of America accounts. So I have the checking that is at Bank of America and then my savings. Those are the ones that I like check more frequently, like, because it's just like spending. I'm more activity is coming out of those accounts, right? Not
hmm
necessarily my savings, but more so because they're connected. I see my savings more in the Bank of America. My high yield interest savings account, I don't really check that. Like it's not something that I need to check often because I have the savings at Bank of America. And what I like tell my clients is, have savings at a local bank or whatever so you can easily access it. So I always recommend people keep like $1,000 to $2,000 in that account. And then after that, like put the rest into like a high yield interest savings account because you want to have access to your money. And with a high yield interest savings account, it gives you more
hmm
interest on your money, but it's typically an online bank, so you got to transfer it, and it could take up to a day or two to transfer the money to your account. So that's why I always recommend people still keep at least 1,000 to 2,000 at your local bank. So just in case like emergency pops up, you get a flat tire or whatever, you can easily transfer the money to your checking account without any issues. But if you have anything over $2,000 where you need money, you just transfer it out. And typically when you need something over $2,000, you kind of know about that in advance. So you can right, you have a
Yeah, I
day or
see what
two
you're
to
saying.
transfer that money. So
hmm
that's why I'm like, you're not necessarily having all these accounts to keep up or whatever. Even with your bill account is over there running its own self. If you set it up right, and I teach people
hmm
how to do that. But if you have the money directly going to your bill account and then you have your bills on auto pay, I really don't check in on my bill. Probably check in on it once a month to make sure like no bills increase, but I'm not checking that account like all the time
Right.
because it's more so the
Mhm.
same money going in and out.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And so you talk about like a little bit about like you helping people and you helping your clients. So do you right now you provide services for like financial? I don't do budgets. You
Yeah,
still
I
do
do
that right
provide
now?
financial coaching. So that is like one of the big things that I do. And then I also have a workbook called the Financial Freedom Planner. And ultimately, I created this workbook like step by step. Because when I was looking to get my money right, I kept seeing a bunch of fluffy workbooks that wasn't really giving me no actions. And I was like, okay, let me create a workbook that's just like step by step, tell you exactly what to do. Put your money here, put this amount here. Like you literally fill in the blanks based off your money. But it's literally, okay, like once you know the number, do this, like, and it's basically based on 30 days. So each day has a money lesson. So literally like day 12 is like open a bill account.
Mm-hmm.
And then I break down how to do it, how to set your money up or whatever. And I created this workbook and it's only $27. And I created it so that it's less than $1 a day. So for the next 30 days, you spend less than $1 a day. And it even has like 10 bonus pages in there on like some travel tips on how to travel cheaper, some investing tips. Like it has everything that I felt like I needed when I was getting my money together.
Yes, that sounds like a great resource. Yeah, I'm just go cop that. And with that, you were saying, oh dang. So you were saying that like the bill accounts and then the book, but you help on top of the book too. Like you still take it, or you were just saying like that's something that you offer as well. Is the book for them to get if they don't? I guess necessarily.
Yeah, if they
one-on-one.
don't like, if people aren't ready to do one-on-one, then they can start with the workbook. But if you want to do both, that's fine too. But yes, I do offer one-on-one specific, specialized, customized coaching for people.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Okay, that was my next question. So when you say like to like the 4 counts, how you said you break it down, do you suggest like somebody like 20% of your paycheck should go to savings? Is that something that you think is like true, or do you not go by
I
that
always say like at least 10% for your savings or whatever. And I do have like certain percentages broken out. So I have this free tracker. It's called the Financial Freedom Tracker. So people can go to my website and download it, and you can kind of see the different percentages that I recommend as far as expenses. But as far as like the specific amounts, like increasing, I recommend that at least everybody have at least 10%, but then some people can save more than that, you know, because based off your income or your expenses, because some people have lower expenses, some people have higher expenses or whatever. So whenever I'm in like a financial coaching session, then we look at that. So I'm not just going to say like, okay, you automatically going to save 10% just because like that's what I recommend. Because some people can save 33% and they still have a lot of money left over. So that's when it gets down to the financial coaching, it gets very specific and we are customizing it. But as far as like overall, I definitely recommend that everybody save at least 10%.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was just asking because when I was like, I'm talking about money or something like that one time, how people save money, it was like this like chart or something. It was like 20% savings, like 30% invest, and like 30% some spend or something or growth or whatever. So I was just asking you if that's how you went by or something like that. But I do understand like everybody's situation is different. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Is there any more tips or any other things, any other resources that you have that you think that they should know about? Do you think that that would help them in their money?
I would definitely say have a high yield interest savings account, because the way the banks are set up, like, okay, so most people think like, okay, I get a free checking account, I get a free savings account, whatever. Ultimately, banks need us to deposit our money so that they're able to loan out money. So they're able to loan out car loans, mortgages, personal loans, small business loans, whatever loans they loan out. And so when they loan out this money, they charge X person interest, right? And so they make money from the interest they charge out from the loans, but they need our money to loan out this money, like collectively. So if we have our money in a bank, then we should definitely be getting the most interest as possible from our money being loaned out, right? So that's why I always tell people, make sure you have a high yield interest savings account, because people will be like, oh yeah, like I'm making 30 cents a month, which used to be me. I used to be like, I'm making 30 cents a month, and I just felt like that 30 cents was free money. And I was like, I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm at least making 30 cents. No, they have to use our money to loan out to other people, and then they make interest off our money. So we need to get the most of our money. So that's one thing. And then number two, I would also say, make sure you have multiple streams of income. That is so essential, especially right now during this time of uncertainty. It's important that you have more than one stream of income, so that way if one dries up, you're okay. Because like me, I'm not working anymore, like my full-time job, but I still have other streams of income. So I wasn't just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I can't live my life, like I don't have no money. No, like I was good or whatever. And then three, I would say, make sure that you are saving, like you have an FA fund, like you have some type of fallback or some type of cushion, like because you might have a bad day at work. You might literally just be like, I can't do this anymore, I'm stressed, like I want to find another job. But maybe today your manager just made you so bad that you just walked out. And so having an FA fund will help you kind of relieve some of that, like, oh, I got to put up with this or whatever. Or maybe you hate the city you're living in, and that was me. Like I hated the city I was living in, so I wanted to move to Atlanta. Like even though I planned for it in advance, it's still just like having that nice fund to be able to lean on. Or I remember my family went to Chicago, and it was a 10-hour drive. And I was like, I just got off work and I did not feel like sitting in the car for 10 hours. And I thought about it. I literally bought a plane ticket the day before because I was stressing out. I was like, dang, like I don't want to have to get off work tomorrow and sit in this car for 10 hours or whatever. And then I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, oh, this is a lot. I'm going to be so tired. And then when I come back, I'm going to be tired, da-da-da. Like, I just had all these things. And then I was like, girl, just use money from your FA fund and buy a plane ticket. And it's not to say I do that sparingly. Like, I
know you do it sparingly.
I don't do it all the time. Sorry.
You don't do it all the time.
But yeah, it's not to say that I do that all the time. But I did that in the moment because I was like, F this, or whatever, I can use it. But luckily I had my points, so I didn't have to pay for the flight. So anyways, long story short, it was just like in moments like that where I was just like, oh, I should not be stressed about this because I have my fund. But I mean, I have my travel fund, but it was just like in my mind, I'm like, this is the reason why I have an FA fund, just for like moments like this or whatever. And then I would say, lastly, make sure you are investing your money so your money is making money for you. So you're not just sitting there relying on a paycheck. So what I do is I use the money from my full-time job, or when I had one, and when I plan to get another one, I use that money to invest. So I would always say, like, my job is my investor. And so I purchased a rental property from that. And so find whatever investments interest you. So for me, that was rental. I know a lot of people do stocks, people do Forex. Like there's so many different types of investments you can put your money in. But find the one that interests you so that you can really learn about it. So yeah, I would say those are my money tips.
Oh my gosh, we gotta go back. Hold on for a couple of things. Okay, the first one, do you have a bank, or like you said, to save in a high yield interest? Is that like a certain bank, or that they
yes, it's certain banks. I'm actually, I don't want to say the one I use because the reason why is because I'm thinking about switching, so I don't want to say the one I'm using, then I end up switching on y'all. But
I just didn't know if it was like certain banks.
Yeah, you could literally Google high yield interest savings accounts. I actually just put up a post the other day about getting high yield interest savings account. So if you DM me on Instagram, I can send you recommendations. So then that way I can tell you which ones have the best, but I don't want to say it because I'm like, okay, by the time you DM me, I might have a different one. So, because the reason why I do that is because I want to get the most of my money. So sometimes I move my money to other like higher, the ones that have the most interest at the time. So yes, you could literally just Google high yield interest savings account, or if you want a recommendation, just hit me up on Instagram and say, hey, I need a recommendation for a high yield interest savings account, and I can send it to you.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And then the second one, you keep talking about like having like an effort account, which I would never thought about that, but now I'm thinking about that because since you're saying it, do you just say like how much ever you have, you just put up in there? Did you have a strategy that you put up in there? Or are you just like,
well, I first calculated my disposable income to see how much money I had left over after I paid all my bills. And I think and this was when I was in Minneapolis, like my first job at $40,000, and my disposable income was $1,500 at the time. Okay. And I was like, girl, if you have $1,500 left over every month after you pay your bills, you could definitely save $500 a month, really more than that. But I started with $500, and then I used the rest for like miscellaneous and credit card payments and all this stuff. But so I started saving $500, and then when I got a raise, I increased it to $1,000, and then I increased it to $1,200. So I just kept increasing it every time I got a raise. Or if my expenses decreased, I would increase it. So that way I could actually see my money. Like I could see my promotions. Whenever I got a raise, I could see them, not just feel like, okay, I got a raise, but I don't really feel like I did. Like I wanted to be able to see the raise, see the promotion, whatever. And so I started increasing my savings every time I got one or whatever. So I eventually got to the point where I was saving $1,200 every month. So it would be $600 every 2 weeks, automatically go to that account. And so that's how I was able to get to half of my salary, because the money was just going into that account. And that was in a high yield interest savings account. And in the first 2 years of my high yield interest savings account, I accrued like $330 in interest.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Listen,
y'all need to start early out here, okay? I'm about to start now for real, because baby, I'm trying to be a millionaire.
Same.
So, yes, oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's actually great too, because I know when some people they get raises, like they don't.
They go get new cars. They increase it. It's called lifestyle inflation.
Yeah.
Like they go get newer apartments. Like they do all of this stuff instead of just like staying where you are and then increasing your savings.
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell my friend too, like about money. I'm like I do, like I like to travel. I like to go places. I do like to, I don't want to always owe somebody. So you know how they be like, okay, the new iPhone comes out. Well, guess what, baby? This iPhone XR is working fine. I'm not about to go get an iPhone X18. I'm not about to keep on giving these people my money. Like I'm not going to keep on doing this, because that's just going to make me go down. Like I have a car. They're like, oh, you need a new car. If I don't have a car payment, I don't need no good car. If it is running on them tires and them gas.
Right. And another thing, I tell people, I'm like, calculate what percent of your income is going towards your expenses. So I remember I had one client do that, and 70% of her income was going towards expenses. And I was like, do you realize that 70% of the time when you're at... Okay.
Hold on. Sorry, that was my house phone. I'll just edit this part out. Okay. You can start over.
So I remember I had one client who had 70% of her income going towards expenses. And I was like, do you realize that 70% of the time you're at work, you're working to give your money to somebody else? And she was like, what? Like just calculating and realizing that 70% of her income went towards expenses, and realizing 70% of the time when she was at work, it was she was working to pay somebody else. It was just like a game changer. And that's what I tell people do. It is. Right, so, look at that and see what percent of your income goes towards expenses. And I always tell people, I'm like, see what percent of your income goes to someone else.
Yeah, that's mind blowing right there when you think about it. You're like, what? All this
Right,
all this
right.
time
Like
I've
I'm
been
at
getting no
work
money from
70% of the time to pay somebody else. I don't know.
right. And look, I'm at 70% of the time, especially if I don't even like my job.
Period.
Like,
That's why I be
what?
trying to tell
I'm
people
here?
like, don't be trying to get all these expenses for no reason. Like, don't go get a new car just because or whatever. Like, you don't need this high car note or whatever.
But yeah, that's
especially
true.
to go to work for it. And my
Sure
whole
don't.
thing is I'm gonna get these rentals. The rental's gonna pay for those things. Like the rental's gonna pay for me a new car one day. The rentals are gonna pay for a new house one day or whatever. Like I'm not gonna continue to work for those things.
Right, passive income. And that's another thing too. People try to keep up with the Joneses, and this generation is like this, that. And I'm like, no, I'm fine, because like if I have a car, like of course I want a nice car. I'm like, I want a Range Rover, but I'm not about to go out here and get a Range Rover where I'm paying $900 and a month for that. Like that is more than an apartment. That's more than a house payment, and I can't really afford it. And I'm spending all my money on that. It just don't really add up to me. That don't add up to me. What I'm going to do is be like you and invest in rental property, and then when I get that, that passive income, that can pay for that. So I already started one stream. So like that's what I just I just don't understand people. Like I'm not about to just keep on getting this new stuff, and that's another thing too. Like sometimes people don't know how to live
below their means.
It's beneath their means or something like that, or they below their means. Yeah, they always try to live above their means, and I'm like, no, I need to live under my means so I can make sure that I have this money that I can use for later. And that's, I think that's too important too when you're talking about like, you have money for this, you have money for that, because you know how much, like, it's like, you know your numbers, you know how much you make, you know what's going here. And I think that's the most important thing. Like when you get your check, just making sure like, okay, this is what I get, this is what I know I get, this is for this, like knowing how much it is you spend, how much it is, and just making that lifestyle work for you. But also you want to keep some of your money too. You don't want to give it to every single body outside.
And I always tell people like, when
home.
You say yes to something, you say no to something else. So for me, I say no to a car note so I can say yes to trips. So I would be, because people would be like, oh, I used to go on trips. I'm like, okay, I have no car note. Like I don't have a car note. You have a car note. So of course you feel like that's a strain on you. And that's like no shade to people that have car notes. But I'm just saying like when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. So think about what you want to say yes to and think about what you want to say no to. Like traveling for me is more important than having a nice car.
A car.
Right. Like where am I going to work all the time? I can't go nowhere because I'm in this car all the time. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Like I
literally, I definitely like that. That's good. That yes and no. That's true. Because and that's what I guess I was talking about earlier when they're like, when I was like, I don't really do budgets or whatever. They're like, listen, how do you travel so much? How do you travel so much? And honestly, like that's what it was. Like, I don't care to keep up the Joneses. Like I didn't have no car payment. What else did I do? I didn't have no cable. I mean, that could be some people. I didn't have no cable, though. I didn't even have a TV. I have a TV, but I didn't have no cable in my apartment. What am I watching TV
Period.
for?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the money that would be going towards a car note goes to my travel account.
Yeah, and so that's why I just think sometimes people are just like, oh, you're always this, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could have had cable, but I chose not to have cable, and I was in school too. So when I was in school, I'm really not watching TV.
Right,
I'm done with cable before, so it's really nothing to me. I'd rather be like, okay, hey y'all, I'm going.
Right, I don't want to be sitting watching people on TV in Bali when I could just be there. Like, no, I don't have cable either. I use my mama's login. She got cable, and I stream her cable to my TV. I'm not paying for it.
Yes,
exactly.
Use your resources, okay? Because that's what I was doing too. I was using my mama's stuff. I mean, why not? They already have it, and they want to pay for it, so I'm going to use that. That's what I'm going to do. And so, that's just so funny, like just such connection right there. Because I just feel like that's too, like people, I really was going to do a video of like unpopular opinions about travel. They were like, you travel so much, you travel. Like, yes, that's my priority. That's what I've been doing for all my life. That's what I know. And I'm going to still do it. So I'm just going to spend money on that rather than spending money on other stuff. Like, I don't know. I even stopped eating out for it. I used to shop a lot too. When you're talking about that, when I was an undergrad, I used to shop so much just because, like, I just had money to shop. And so like I stopped spending all that money.
Right.
Started spending on trips.
You stopped saying yes to shopping and you start saying no to shopping and yes to travel.
I started traveling. Yeah. Yes, traveling. Yeah. So I can save my money. So yeah, that's good too. And I definitely think it is important to have to know about the different streams of income. And so I might need to bring you back again
Oh,
to
girl, I
talk
can
about
talk
the
about
real
real
estate
estate
thing
for
because
days, honey. I
I feel
love
like
real estate.
yeah, I feel like that's something new that's well not new, but I feel like it's coming around and people are talking about it more to like build wealth and do different things like that. And I feel like that's important to know and how you can start it right now, which I don't have no property, but I do want to get into real estate and stuff like that. So just trying to figure out, different ways to make the passive incomes, to keep the income streams coming, and also to make your
Right.
money work for you basically at the
Right,
end of the day.
exactly.
Let your money work for you. And so thank you for coming up on here, but I need you to let the people
So
know where
y'all
can they
can find
find
me
you
at I
at.
don't do budgets everywhere. Like Twitter, I don't do budgets. My website, I don't do budgets.com. Instagram, I don't do budgets. Facebook, I don't do budgets. Like literally everywhere is I don't do budgets. Yes.
Oh yeah, you have a
Yes.
Facebook community. That's what I wanted to talk about.
I have a
Yeah, you have a
Facebook
whole
community.
Facebook community.
I have a group me with over 1,000 members. It's also I don't do budgets. Like, girl, I have people everywhere. Yes, I can send you the link.
I need to be in that group meet. I need to be in that group meet. I'm in the Facebook group and it's really good. And I was like going back, and that's how I knew some of your stuff online, was like the workbook and stuff like that. But that's really good because there's great information in there, and about different things that are going on. So if y'all don't want to do budgets and let y'all money work for y'all, I need to go follow her, join her groups, and just learn about how to make money work for you. So that we can, keep on moving along and just living our best life.
That's what I like. Literally, when I started out, I would always say like, so you can live your best life, like, so you can literally go to the concerts or whatever, like the things you want to do, like you can do that. And that's like my whole thing. I was not about to be living paycheck to paycheck, trying to do these things, but then I didn't have no money in my savings. I didn't have no investments. I didn't have nothing. Like I'm still able to do all those things now. Like I like going out still. I like going to brunch. Like I still eat out, like all of those things, but then I still have my money together. So I never ever, like even when I'm working with clients, I'm never like, oh, we got to cut this out. Like I'm like, okay, let's figure out how we gonna make it work. Like we're gonna increase income. We ain't cutting, right? Like if it's something that's important to you, we don't gotta cut it. Let's increase this income in a way. So you just have to figure out how to ultimately live your best life, but then still be able to manage your money at the same time. And that's my whole philosophy. That's what I teach people.
Yes, that is so good. I literally love that because yes, we try to live our best life, get this money and everything. And so we gonna, bring people together to help them figure it out too.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It was great talking to you. Definitely appreciate it. Yes, and y'all make sure y'all follow her, keep up with her and get your money up. Live your best life, as she would say. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and